everybody, how are you doing today? This is Madhvi from TaroticallySpeaking.com, and here I am today with a video that was requested by one of my viewers. Thank you so much for sending in this question. Here it is. I hope you can see it, and I hope the screen is not shining too much. It's about this this situation that he wants to have new management in the car lot that he runs or owns, and one of the people that he has in his mind to manage the car lot is he's a very manipulative person, but he knows the business, but he's also mean and rude to the employees. So the owner wonders whether he should promote this guy or he should just hire someone else, right? And what she requested essentially was she wanted me to do a a comparative sort of spread, like one the seven card horseshoe spread, and the other a Celtic cross spread. And so now there are so many different kinds of Celtic cross spreads out there. So what I did is I looked for the most authentic one, and this is the one here in the Pictorial Key to the Tarot by Arthur Edward Waite. So I'm going to use this Celtic cross when I do the Celtic cross. Okay. Yep, so here we go. And the 7-card spread, I think I may have done a video about it, so you can I'll put a link somewhere on the screen corner here, so you can totally look at that video if you're curious about that spread. And one more thing, I'm going to be using this very cute pocket version of the Universal Weight Tarot deck that I recently ordered. I like it. It's very cute. It's small. And the box is cute, right? You just pop it into your purse and you can go. It's a little bit smaller in size, obviously you can see that, compared to your regular deck, but that's what I like about it. So I'm hoping to use this deck today, in this particular video, because I'm getting fond of this deck, really. Actually, it's a cute one. I carry it with me in my pocket wherever I go, so if I need a quick reading for myself, I have one. And yeah, these are the two crystals that I'm kind of working with these past few days, weeks, you can say. This is sodalite, this is malachite. I've been holding on to them every single time. It's just a feeling I keep getting sometimes that, bring me to the reading table. That's what they say. So here they are. So, okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go shuffle the deck and everything. All right. And I will be right back with, I'll pull the cards out right in front of you. Don't worry. So see how cute these cards are, and see the card back. I love it. It's lovely. All right. I'll be right back. So I figured I might as well, have a little chat with you guys while I was shuffling this deck. The question actually that has been asked, it typically, all right, if you really want to, when you're doing a reading, the simplest way is to break down the question. Even if it's a complicated sort of situation, circumstance, whatever question, break it down into its very basic, simplest form. And here the simplest form actually was that this is more like a series of yes/no questions, right? Should he hire the manipulative guy? Yes or no? And should he hire someone else? Yes or no? That kind of a thing, right? But since we are going to be doing these two different spreads, I figured, okay, let me ask this question in a different way. What should he do? Like, just pure guidance, right? Now see, this is another thing with tarot, with the spreads that you do, with the questions that you ask, right? They can be pure predictive questions, right? In which what I mean is, these are questions that invite a very predictive answer. For instance, what will my day be like? Right? This is a prediction. This is not a guidance, unless you ask a very specific guidance question, like, okay, so in the day that I'm going to have today, what guidance can you give, or how should I deal with the what's coming my way during the day. So when you ask these questions, this is a guidance question. But when you want to specifically just know what's going to happen, that's obviously a prediction question. Now we can again address this question, which was, which has been presented to us in both these ways. We can just ask, how will things be like should, if he hires Mr. Manipulative guy. Or we can also ask, how will things be like if he hires someone else, right, with his car lot. So again, there's so many different ways that you can really, really branch out and explore the questions that are being asked to you, right? So instead of doing any of that, I figured the best way, because that's kind of my favorite angle, so to speak, when it comes to tarot, is to seek guidance. Hey, prediction, yes, sure, we can ask about that, and probably the spreads that we do will have an element of prediction in it. But what we need to know more is guidance. What should he do? What should he do? Should he hire should he just promote this guy who knows the business, but he's not such a nice person or human being as such? Or should he just go and hire someone else? So let's go. Let's see what the cards have to say here. I'm just giving this deck a nice good shuffle. Okay, so hold the cards in your hand and quietly, or sometimes if whatever works, just ask that question to the cards. Then make a fan. Whoops, I don't know. I don't think that got captured. Let me see if I can just see how nicely that happened. Okay. This is a very cute deck. I'm just going to leave this here. So hang on. This is a very, that's one of the reasons why I'm liking this particular deck, is because the cards are small. I can, use that in, when I'm doing my videos, I can really leverage the smaller size of the cards. They easily fit within the frame of the screen and so on and so forth. Okay, so this is the spread. Very simple: past, present, future. This is the answer card: situation, attitude, outcome, and then finally, this is the last card we open here. Now, our question is, what should the owner of the car lot do, right? In terms of, giving, or rather leaving that business, or letting someone handle the business as he probably retires or something, right? What should he do? Who should he leave it to? So now, within the context of the question, you're going to look at each spread position and interpret it in that way. All right. So past, this is going to talk about the energy that sort of comes in as we get into this reading, right? And here we have the World card, right? The World, very beautiful. See how it shows up. The World card talks about endings. In the major arcana, it's the ending of the entire, it's the ending of the whole cycle of the major arcana. And this is the energy coming in from the past. So this old man, he's had his sort of run with that business, and he's really happy. He feels good. There is a business, so he has to move on. So this, in a way, while this card talks about several things, it also does talk about wrapping up a chapter. So that's kind of what's happening for him. He's wrapping up this chapter in his life, this big chapter, very important chapter in his life. He's wrapping it up, and now he's like, okay, who can sort of take this mantle of this business and really run it in a nice way, the way, good way, the way I used to run it, that sort of thing. So that's the energy coming in from the past. So now in the present, see, we have 10 of Wands. He's burdened, he's worried, he really has no idea what to do. Again, look at this guy, right? The way he's holding, let me see if I can hold up the card. The way he's holding the wands over there, right? And he really can't see, because he's holding those wands, he really can't see where he's going. So all these burdens. So the worry about the business, not just about who to leave it to, but there are other so many worries about the business, the little nitty-gritties of the business. And so he's kind of a little bit right now worried about everything related to his business. Again, wands is all fire. He's worried. What should he do? He doesn't really know where to go and what to do to fix it or solve it or resolve really his worries. Now, the future. Ooh, I'm not liking this. But, at some point, this is there. The future shows 10 of swords. Again, this is more guidance, right? Remember this. We have asked the cards for guidance. This is not a prediction. So where the past and present cards come up, they're just basically talking about what we already know. In the future, he faces a very difficult decision or situation. See, now the 10 of swords, now we have to interpret it within two sort of frameworks. One is the framework that this is not a prediction, this is more like a guidance. And second, it's more like, within the framework of the question, like what he wants to do, who he wants to leave that business to. And here, the 10 of swords is saying that, look, all that worrying about things, all the pressure that he took, right? It's going to leave him in a place with like a stuck position, in a really stuck position, because he's going to have doubts. And the way, I don't know, this is a feeling again I'm getting. So yay, intuition. So it's like, he's going to have worries or doubts or, suspicions, really, all kinds of things. Is this a good man? Is this a good man? Really, the way I'm getting the energy is that he doesn't necessarily think anybody else is good enough to take over that business. And that kind of thought process might keep him in this stuck, sort of painfully worried position for a very long time going forward. Okay, so, but again, since this is a guidance spread, it is these two cards really that will shed a lot of light. So let's see what they're talking about, because this is the situation and this is the attitude. So the cards here and here are going to talk about the different kinds of attitude within that situation that this old man probably needs to have in, and what kind of outcome and answer the question is going to give him, so, or the spreads are going to give him. So the situation is Queen of Cups reversed. See, now all the stuff that he's been holding on to in his heart about this entire situation, he needs to really, really get it out of his system. He needs to get it out of him. He needs to let go of the feelings that he's holding on to. It's all the water here, see, in here. He needs to really, really let it go, right? Because as I said, no matter who comes, even if he's a really nice person, this guy's not going to think him worthy, because obviously this is his own business. This is something that he's like put his heart and soul into, and nobody can be good enough, that kind of a thing. But the attitude here is 8 of Cups reverse, and this is more like, this is what the cards are saying. This is what's happening. See, I keep saying that he's got all this emotional attachment to that business. He wants to leave, but he can't leave. He can't let it go. He can't walk away. And see, this is where the cards are saying this situation is going to emerge from. That for a very long time, this man is not going to feel anybody is worthy of taking over the business from him or managing that business. And he's going to create he's going to kind of paint himself into a corner there, unable to move past that place where he's like, nobody's good enough. So for some time he might stay there, and the reason is because he's not able to sort of completely let go and walk away, right? So what is the outcome? We have Star, which means, let it go. The cards are like, what, just let it go. Whoever you hire is probably going to be it's going to be a mixed bag. So just let it go. Whichever guy you hire, whichever person you put there, everybody is going to come in with their own sets of plus and minus points, pros and cons, good and bad character traits, somewhere or the other. So all you need to do is, in a way, if you listen to this star, it's like listen to your heart, follow your heart, whatever your heart tells you. Don't be in this stuck position, don't be in this painfully sort of stuck position. Follow your heart. If you want to interview other people, interview other people. Just go with the guy who gives you a good feeling, right? Just go with that person that gives you a good feeling and just let it go, walk away. Let's see what the answer card is saying here. See, Queen of Wands. And see, this is actually, I'll tell you something. When I was talking about go with the guy here, and I kind of paused. I was like, what if it's a girl? So, and there you have the Queen of Wands. Very likely, this is the answer card. As far as this guidance spread goes, this would very well could be a prediction spread. That maybe he needs to look at a lady who is just as aggressive, because the Queen of Wands is pretty aggressive. This woman is pretty aggressive. And maybe instead of hiring that guy, he needs to look at someone who is a Queen of Wands. This woman is aggressive, yes, but she's also very warm-hearted, very creative, and very talented. Maybe instead of hiring, maybe if he does hire, he can look at someone who is a woman. Very likely chance that this is a woman. Now, again, disclaimer, I don't always follow the court card and say, oh, just because it's a queen card, so it's a woman. No, because remember when this queen came up, I said, this is him, right? But when I was looking at the star card and I said, maybe in the next guy, and I was like, no, it could be a girl. And there you are. Here she is. So it is very likely that he should hire someone else, not Mr. Manipulative. And this someone else could very well be a woman. And she's a very strong, very aggressive, somewhat pushy, but at the same time, very warm-hearted, very loving, very caring, very genuine person, the Queen of Wands. So this is what the cards are saying in this spread, that, as if he keeps, wondering who should I hire, and because of that, he'll remain in a very difficult sort of position, and he will probably not hire anybody for a very long time because nobody seems to be good enough. But the cards are saying, listen, you need to let it go. You need to be chill about this. You need to follow your heart. And probably, very likely, the person you hire is going to be a lady, and these are her character traits. All right. So this is how I would sort of have, this is the spread that I did right now, is the 7-card spread. And so now what I'm going to do again, I'm going to just, pick these cards up and go shuffle my deck again. And we're going to come back to do a Celtic cross spread. Or, okay, I'm just going to keep recording. Let's see. Lovers card choices. See, the cards that fall out, there's a lot to be said for those cards as well. So I guess let's keep recording, yeah. I also like that this is a cute little small deck. So it's, after so many years of shuffling tarot cards, shuffling smaller decks seems like, oh my god, this is so cute. But yeah, So, okay, now let's do this Celtic cross spread and essentially ask the cards the same question. Given this situation, what should he do? Okay, so now let's quickly refer to this page 305. We have 10 cards. Now the reason I'm doing that is because I do a very different sort of Celtic cross. So the first card is the significator card, right? So normally people would pull out a court card, but I'm just gonna go with whatever comes. Then what covers him? Third is what crowns him. Fourth is what beneath him. Then fifth, what is behind him. So this is the past. Sixth is what is before him. And seventh is himself. Eight is his house. House could be also the environment. 9 is hopes and fears. And finally 10 is what will come. Okay. I'm not really familiar with this spread, but hey, I'm just gonna go with it. Let's see what comes. I mean, basic logic is still the same, right? Now see this. I like to always look at the cards from the bottom of the deck and the top of the deck also, because they do shed a lot of light. We have here the 7 of Wands with the Ace of Swords reverse. See, so there's so many things to do. He's kind of overwhelmed with all the, there's probably a big to-do list as he sort of retires and stuff. And then we have the Ace of Swords reverse as confusion. Ta-da! Right? So let's... Okay, so since I've pulled the card this way, let me see if this sort of fits in here. Yeah, this is what covers him, crowns him, beneath him. I hope we see this in the frame, in the screen. And then we have, oops, so I'm just going to keep this card here so we can see it. All right, or here, how about this? Here too. Yeah, so it's there in the, this one usually goes there. Okay, right? So we have your Celtic cross. Again, this is a guidance spread, not really prediction spread. I suppose this and this could be highly predictive, right? What's in front of him and what will happen, that card here, right? So let's start the significator, and we have 8 of Wands. So 8 of Wands, that's him. That's our old man who owns the car lot. And yeah, look at him. I mean, there is a lot of energy there. 8 of Wands is essentially about energy, and it's moving forward. So there's all of that energy, and he's like, oh my god, I gotta get this going. And he's kind of looking forward to relaxing after working hard for so many years. He just wants to take a chill pill, kind of, he wants to just be relaxed. And he is in his heart of hearts really looking forward to what's ahead of him in that way, right? So what covers him? We have the Page of Wands. So this is our old man saying, okay, I want to go ahead and I want to do something good before I leave. I want to hire a new manager who's a good person, who is a good manager and who can really take care of things and so on and so forth. So what crowns him? This is what would be on his head, right? Or rather what's on his mind, kind of thing. And there is your Hanged Man, right? He's in a stuck position. He really doesn't know what to do. He feels that he can't necessarily, he's unable really to take any kind of decision regarding the post of the manager of the car lot. Like who's he gonna give it to? So he finds himself in that stuck position. What is beneath him could be what he's kind of suppressing, maybe. So here we have Hierophant reversed, right? So Hierophant is all about structures and systems and rules and societies, and basically these are the big rules that society or the world at large kind of structures and systems. That's kind of what it is. And reverse, he doesn't want to. Now this is the thing, because this is beneath him, this is what's under him, this is what he's trying to push away in a sort of a way. He doesn't want to go away from the set systems. He wants to follow the set systems. All right, he wants to follow the rules. He doesn't want to do something outrageously different, or he doesn't want to do something that has never been done before. He wants to follow tradition in a way, and put someone in that managerial position, someone who he feels is a right person. So what is behind him? So this could be the past, and we have Ace of Cups reverse. This is overwhelming emotions, right? Even when now Ace of Cups, even when it's upright or reverse, it can definitely talk about emotions that are just all over the place. It could be happy, and people could say, "Oh, this is sad." That is one interpretation of it. But here, what I'm feeling is that okay, there's a whole lot of overwhelming emotion, something that could not be contained. He has a lot of deep sort of attachment to that car lot. He spent maybe his whole life there, and he really, 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 really is bonded with it emotionally. So, he wants to do the right thing. So, what is coming forward? Seven of Swords. Now, again, this is very classic. This guy, Seven of Swords, typically everyone would say, "Oh, cheater card." Well, yes, on some level, this guy is a cheater. But look at him. Take a good look at him. This is also someone who takes chances. This is also someone who takes a risk. This is someone who is also an opportunist. And this is also someone who is politically savvy. This is also someone who, who makes the best of whatever situation life throws at him. So going forward is very likely that this person, and we know already there is that manipulative guy in the company. So going forward, it is very likely that the old man will have to really deal with this guy. Okay, he will have to tackle him. So if he wants to hire someone else, he needs to make sure this guy is either told to leave or told to in some way he will have to tackle with this guy. And the political things that what is the word, machinations. I don't know how to say it. Okay, some maneuvering, okay, political maneuverings that this guy may have done behind the scenes. So that's one thing he needs to watch out for. Okay, so now this is himself. Four of Cups. That's him, right? He has to make a choice, but he's not necessarily feeling it. He's not necessarily getting that aha feeling from the heart, especially with this guy. He's like, no, not feeling it. So right now he's not doing anything. He's just sitting there. He's like, I'm feeling, not feeling this, not feeling this. So he's kind of in that space right now. Okay. Then his house. Now by his house, we could be talking about his, house is a place of sanctuary, place where he feels safe, that kind of a thing. So let's see what that is. We have Nine of Cups reversed. Now again, we all know Nine of Cups is all about emotional contentment and feeling good about yourself. So this is the card that comes up in his house, which means this guy is not necessarily feeling happy about walking away from that business, as we saw in the previous spread as well. But he's not necessarily content about the options and choices that are presented to him in this situation. I mean, he's like, oh, I could have had better choices. I would have, even if I had more options, I would have felt more content, more happier about the decisions that I'm taking. As such, he's not very happy. He's not very confident that when he leaves the business, it will be left to a person who is worthy and dependable, right? So that's that discontent there. Then finally, we have the hopes and fears. And there you have the Knight of Wands coming up, right? So he actually, here's my feeling. I know you can't see that card, but you can see the card name. Here's my feeling now when I'm looking at this. He doesn't necessarily want to, take a call. He hopes, because this is the hopes and fears. He really, really hopes that the right person shows up. This is again a feeling I'm getting. He hopes that, like a knight on this astride the horse, someone actually walks into his dealership and says, hey, you want to hire me? That kind of thing. He hopes that the right candidate actually just kind of shows up magically, and so he can get a very legitimate sort of reason to tell this guy to, tata bye bye and hire the other guy, the right person, really. So what will come? Three of Cups. Oh, joy. Look. So I do think, again, uh, of course, referring to the guidance that we received from the previous spread and again from this spread, right? Three of Cups talks about going out there, meeting people, and having a good time. This also kind of predicts a joyful sort of outcome. Okay, so if I'm going to say anything like that, what I would say here is that, following the guidance, because again, this is my experience, right? When the cards, they seem to know, because you know that you're going to do two spreads about the same question, so in different ways they are shedding light on the same situation, so there's not much repetition of the information. It's just they're adding different shades to what we already know. The outcome will be pleasant and happy and cheerful and joyful and all of that. However, what he needs to do is he needs to get out of this Four of Cups space and go talk to people, network with people, and maybe meet other people. And again, these are three muses, women. So he needs to maybe look at other candidates and hire from there, because he clearly does not like this guy, and this guy is maybe not such a good option anyway, but he will have to deal with him, right? Even when he hires someone else, he needs to really make sure that he's tackled Mr. Manipulative in a right way. Okay, so the old man who owns the car lot, if I have to summarize both the readings that we did, the old man who owns the car lot needs to hire, and will probably, he needs to get out of that, oh my god, what should I do space. He needs to go out there, meet other people, maybe network with friends, or, in the industry, whatever, find out. It's very likely someone else who is also, again, very, very likely a lady, will be the right person for that job. And as he hires her to take over as the manager of the car lot, he will have to also meanwhile deal with the political string pulling that the manipulative guy has done. So he will have to kind of tackle that before this other person can sort of come in and take over. I hope now both these spreads made sense, and I hope that that this kind of comparative spreads that we did today actually helped in a way to sort of look at the same situation but from different angles. So I would really, really, really like to know what you guys thought of it. And of course, if you have more questions, more interesting questions for me to do, more spreads for me to sort of do, kind of live on video over here on YouTube, just let me know. I would love to do that. That would be great, because, when you have questions, you have context. And when you have context, then there's so much you can do, rather than just free form pulling out a spread and then just pulling a context out of thin air. I think having a question and doing a spread about it is even much more fun. So let me know what you think. And yes, this has become a bit of a long video. I apologize for that, but then I guess short videos are not my thing. All right, then I will be back again with few more videos. I've gotten over my blah blah energy, so I'm kind of feeling a little bit better. So I do have a few more videos planned out, and I will see you soon. In the meantime, stay good, be good, and play with your cards. Bye.